I thought I was just escaping for a weekend bowling tournament, but what I found instead was a truth I'd been avoiding for years about motherhood, exhaustion, and the quiet cracks in our love. With each shift, I encounter events that test my convictions and expand my ability to empathize. The peculiar hours, the relentless fatigue, and the burden of the experiences gradually permeate my essence. Beyond the confines of work, existence can often resemble a repetitive cycle. Venture to the workplace, return to the sanctuary of home, seek the embrace of slumber, and then embark on the cycle once more. Amidst the monotony and struggles, I have unearthed a glimmer of hope in the most unexpected corners. Harassment. It may seem unremarkable, perhaps evoking memories of the simple pastimes often linked to the serene moments of our grandparents' lives. Yet it transformed into my sanctuary. Embracing a fresh enthusiasm, I became a member of a local league last year merely to occupy my time. To my surprise, I found that I excelled at it, and I had even qualified for an official tournament located 3 hours away. A competition to which I had devoted countless hours of preparation. In that fleeting instant, it seemed as if I was grasping a fragment of my existence prior to the divorce, re-establishing a bond with the lively essence of who I once was. Yet, the excitement was quickly tempered by the weight of parental duties. My teenage son, grappling with his own rebellious tendencies, required more attention than ever before. Vividly, I recalled the last occasion I had entrusted him to solitude. Upon my return home, I discovered that a friend had unwittingly inflicted considerable damage to our garage in his efforts to entertain himself. Resolute in my decision to avoid a repeat of that experience, and with the tournament fast approaching, I chose a path that would honor both my aspirations and my duties as a mother. I made arrangements for us to spend the weekend at a hotel close to the tournament venue. The hotel boasted an alluring indoor pool, a delightful indulgence that offered a brief escape from the hustle and bustle of our everyday existence. That morning, I awoke with the dawn. Following a soft stretch, I approached to awaken my son from his profound slumber. He nestled beneath the covers, hesitant to abandon the comforting embrace of his bed. With a gentle, reassuring insistence, I conveyed to him that breakfast was ready, a serene pause before we both continued on our separate paths. As I caught the soft murmur of his thoughts drifting towards pancakes, it became clear to me that he was awake and, in his own unique manner, filled with anticipation. We ventured to the hotel restaurant, where a classic breakfast buffet greeted us with open arms. The room exuded a timeless charm, adorned with classic items, where pancakes lay lavishly coated in syrup, an array of freshly crafted omelets and eggs beckoned, and a humble selection of crispy bacon completed the inviting tableau. My son stacked his plate with pancakes, each mouthful a soft echo of uncomplicated joys, while I chose a thoughtfully crafted omelet. We lingered in a cozy silence, savoring the tranquility of the morning and the simple pleasure of our shared normalcy. Once we finished our meal, I inquired if there was anything he wished to do before I had to head back to the bowling alley. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he spoke of a nearby mall housing a specialty store he had longed to explore. The possibility of uncovering a long-desired game ignited a spark within him, and for a fleeting moment, we both reveled in the thrill of an impending adventure amidst the chaos of our busy lives. In a realm that frequently echoes the monotony of a scratched vinyl, mornings such as these serve as a poignant reminder that life continues to unveil moments of unforeseen splendor. In those precious, stolen moments that slip between the long, exhausting nights at work, the brief escapes to the bowling alley, and the tender breakfasts shared, I discover the strength to carry on. They serve as tender reminders that, in the face of adversity, the mundane can be interspersed with moments of joy, optimism, and a deep-seated love for a son who, in his own special manner, inspires me daily to persevere. As I share my narrative, I encourage you to recognize that even amidst the relentless cycle of obligation and selflessness, there lies the potential to unearth your true self in the most surprising corners of existence. Through a fervor such as bowling or a communal breakfast that envelopes us in warmth, These moments intricately stitch the fabric of our existence, reminding us that each day brims with the promise of a fresh start. A journey marked by peaks and valleys. I once thought that revealing my personal journey was a line I would never cross, yet here I find myself, unearthing the intricate twists and turns that have shaped my existence. Not long ago, a day brimming with unforeseen occurrences brought to mind the heavy burden of duty alongside the radiant moments of happiness that fuel my spirit. In my role as a parent, I strive to offer my son every possible opportunity, even if it requires sacrifices that test both my financial limits and my emotional resilience. A modest treat at the shopping center. It was a day that unfolded with a gentle reminder of my son's nature, thoughtful and rarely one to voice his desires. He casually shared that he had been dreaming of a specific game. We navigated our way to the mall on a bustling afternoon, where the hallways were crowded with people and the vibrant buzz of daily existence enveloped us. The path before us was unmistakable. GameStop. Upon entering, his eyes sparkled with excitement as he stumbled upon a vintage game, its price curiously hovering near the $60 mark. The price caught me off guard. It was a sum that stretched beyond my usual comfort zone, yet his enthusiasm was impossible to ignore. The authentic, heartfelt smile gracing his face rendered every sacrifice a meaningful endeavor. With a heavy heart and a profound sense of duty, I retrieved my wallet, settled the cost of the game, and cherished the radiant expression of gratitude and joy that illuminated his eyes. Instances of unity. Following our visit to GameStop, we wandered through the bustling mall for several hours. We strolled past the shopfronts, taking in the vibrant throng around us. Every step and shared glance stirred up cherished memories of a time when life was uncomplicated, just before the onset of teenage trials. The precious moments of undisturbed time shared solely between us held immeasurable worth. It brought to mind our earlier days together, reigniting feelings of closeness and care that I had feared were fading as he matured. An arduous evening at the bowling alley. As the evening unfolded, I found myself back at the bowling alley, invigorated by the day's bond with my son. With a sense of rejuvenation coursing through me, I was poised to deliver my utmost at the tournament. Nevertheless, existence unfolds with its own capricious cadence. Even with my revitalized spirit, the persistent weariness and escalating pressure took a toll on my performance. I fell from a position of potential, slipping from second place to a disappointing fifth. The impact was significant, and while frustration sought to creep in, I reassured myself that setbacks were merely fleeting moments. One of my colleagues from the league, Megan, triumphed in the tournament, and my pride in her accomplishment knows no bounds. Megan's dedication and relentless spirit had borne fruit, and her victory was a moment for us all to revel in. Following the award ceremony, a few of us chose to venture out for a small celebration. Their invitation held an undeniable allure, particularly with the venue situated conveniently just across from our hotel. A warm ambience enveloped us as we congregated at a quaint bar. In that moment, surrounded by laughter, cherished memories, and the sound of clinking glasses, I allowed myself to relax just a little. Though I typically leaned towards moderation, that night I indulged in more than a single glass of wine, surrendering to the carefree essence of the evening. A serene homecoming and contemplations under the stars. As the clock approached the hour of 1 a.m., I made my way back to our hotel. In the quiet of the night, my son lay asleep in his room, the gentle light of the TV casting a warm glow upon his serene features. A wave of tranquility and profound maternal affection enveloped me as I softly shut his door and made my way to the bathroom for a swift change into cozy pajamas. Once I returned to my room, I nestled into bed, drawing the covers around me as I tried to immerse myself in the softly playing movie on the television. Yet, slumber remained just out of reach. As I reflected on the day's journey, my thoughts drifted through the mall escapade, the thrill of the game, the highs and lows at the bowling alley, and the celebration that offered a fleeting respite from my worries. In the early hours, precisely at 3 a.m., the soft, delicate sounds of my son awakening in his bed captured my attention. I bent down to observe him, captivated by the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of his blanket as he slumbered. Every subtle gesture reinforces the truth of our shared existence. In that serene moment, I found myself enveloped not in loneliness or regret, but in a deep blend of gratitude and reflection. I whispered, "Do you need anything?" only half aware of what he was doing. He just nodded and turned over, murmuring something I couldn't quite hear. It felt like I was drifting, trapped between exhaustion and reflection, unsure of where one emotion ended and another began. I reached out to pull the blanket over him, noticing how warm he felt. A strange ache of protectiveness filled me, part guilt, part love. I whispered, "Try to get some rest," then quietly stepped out. I didn't want to disturb his space, only to make sure he was okay. We sat in silence in separate rooms, lost in our own thoughts. The night felt long, but strangely peaceful. We were both clearly under stress, me with my emotions, him with his youth, and in that confusion, I reminded myself to focus on being the parent he needed. A silent promise to myself echoed, "This must never happen again." The boundary must be reestablished clearly, for both our sakes. I began to reflect deeply on what this emotional collapse meant, and how I could repair not only my own stability but ensure his emotional safety, too. A renewed declaration of affection and intent. As I lay there, it dawned on me that within the chaos of existence, these serene interludes possessed a profound capacity for healing. They rekindled the flame that drives me onward with each passing day. My son, with his joy, his unwavering spirit, and those subtle, restless motions in the dawn's embrace, stood as a shining beacon of hope. I came to understand that each challenge and every sacrifice was, in essence, an investment in his future as well as my own path of self-rediscovery. In the stillness of that late hour, with the gentle hum of the television providing a comforting backdrop, I silently vowed to treasure each moment we shared. I resolved to glean wisdom from every setback, transforming them into stepping stones on my journey of personal growth. The day revealed that even amidst the chaos of life, when burdens press down and aspirations appear far away, there remains a sanctuary for joy, connection, and the hope of what lies ahead. In the quiet embrace of that night, as I struggled to grasp a fleeting moment of slumber, my heart brimmed with a gentle hope. May every day, regardless of its trials, bring forth the promise of fresh starts, unforeseen triumphs, and the enduring connection shared between a parent and a child. I found myself pondering, will he ever emerge victorious? Perhaps it was the wine, or perhaps it was the weight of solitude, but I reached my breaking point. I repeated in my mind all the ways I could be a better guide, a better listener. The doubts whispered louder that night, but so did the desire to protect him from everything, especially from me. A peculiar detachment washed over me, accompanied not by longing, but by a pressing clarity. I had to reaffirm the role I played in his life, that of his protector, never his equal, never his emotional crutch. As I stood near his bed for one last check, I reminded myself how easily lines can blur when exhaustion and affection collide. I quietly turned away, grounding myself in the duty I still held. I took a breath, then pulled the door to his room gently shut, letting the silence reclaim the space. There would be no confusion tonight, just quiet, and the reminder that love, real love, is knowing when to step back. I reminded myself that being a parent sometimes means setting limits, not just for your child, but for your own heart. I whispered in the dark, not to him, but to myself, hold the line. And in doing so, I found the courage to begin again,